Imagine it's a Tuesday like any other. You're sitting at your desk, stuck in traffic, or reaching for your phone. The world is loud, messy, and normal. Thousands of miles away, though, is a command that's typed. 2 keys are turned, and instant the normal world ceases to ever exist again. But it just hasn't realised it yet. Most people think of nuclear war as a vague movie trope, but for the military complexes of the world, it's a rigid, minute-by-minute protocol. It is a machine that once turned on can never be turned off. And today, we are going to walk through that machine, from the moment the first button is pressed to the total collapse of modern civilization, and it takes approximately 72 minutes. This is the Doomsday timeline, and it begins with a binding flash of heat. The second an intercontinental ballistic missile, or also known as an ICBM, ignites, it creates a ginormous, massive infrared signature. High above planet Earth, a constellation of early warning satellites detect that heat in a fraction of milliseconds. Now, to the computer systems that are deep inside the defense bunkers in Colorado or Nebraska, this registers as a red blip on a screen, but that blip represents a warhead 30 times more powerful than the bomb dropped in Hiroshima, Japan of World War II. Now, you would think that the next step is immediate, global panic. But it's actually quite the opposite. It's a period of terrifying silence known as the blind minutes. Satellites can see the heat of the launch, but they can't see the missile's exact path. They know a missile is in the air, but they don't know if it's a weapons test, a rogue mistake, or the start of World War III. Now, for the first 10 minutes, the most powerful military on Earth is essentially paralysed, waiting for the missile to crest the curvature of the Earth, so ground bases' radar can finally see it. In those 10 minutes, the world is still completely normal for you and I. But underground, they are watching a clock, and that clock is counting down the moment they have to wake up the president. By minute 15, the radar officially locks on, the blind spot is gone, and the trajectory is confirmed, and the target is a major population centre. Washington DC, London, New York, doesn't really matter. The nightmare is real. The nuclear football, the black briefcase containing the launch codes, is opened. The president is then briefed, and this is where the timeline becomes a psychological trap, because the incoming missile is moving at 4 miles per second. The leader of the targeted nation has what is known as a 6-minute window. Now, this is 6 minutes to decide the fate of mere millions, even billions of people. Why only 6 minutes? Well, it's quite simple. Because if the president waits to see if the city actually gets hit before firing back, their own underground silos and communication networks might possibly be destroyed in the blast. Now, this unfortunately is the brutal core of nuclear doctrine. Use them or lose them. Now, the system is designed to force a leader's hand. If they don't launch a counterstrike right now, they may never be able to. So the leader makes the only choice the protocol allows. They authorize retaliation. The unlock codes and transmitted to silos and submarines. The point of no return is officially then crossed. Now, minute 26, impact. This is where the first missile reaches its designated target, but it doesn't just hit the ground. It is designed for an airburst detonation about a mile above the city to completely maximize any kind of destruction. The second weapon detonates, and it creates a fireball 4 times hotter than the center of the sun. And if you are within 2 miles of this fireball, you don't die in any traditional sense. You are utterly vaporized. The water in your body flashes into steam instantly. 1 second you're a person, the next you are just a carbon atom floating in the wind. However, the true horror is for those just outside of that circle. The flash of light is so intense that anyone within a 30-mile radius looking towards it will have their retinas instantly burned out. They are now permanently blind, standing in a world that is literally catching on fire. The thermal radiation travels at the speed of light. It ignites curtains, clothes, trees, everything. In seconds, an entire city can become a firestorm that sucks the oxygen out of the air, suffocating anyone who survived by the initial blast. And then, seconds after the flash comes, the shockwave. A wall of very highly condensed compressed air moving faster than the speed of sound, levelling concrete skyscrapers as if they were toothpicks. But there's a silent killer happening at the exact same time. The EMP, or also known as the electromagnetic pulse. Now, this explosion sends a massive surge of radioactive energy through the atmosphere, frying every microchip within hundreds of miles. Your phone dies, your car's computer stops, the power grid collapses, hospitals lose their backup generators, the internet goes permanently dark. This is the moment civilization breaks. Even if you are far enough away to survive the fire and the blast, you are instantly thrust back into the 1800s. No way to call for help, no way to find your family, and no way to know what is really happening. Then within minutes, the iconic mushroom cloud rises that so many people have been witness to with pictures of the internet. Cloud rises 10 miles into the sky. It looks like smoke. But that is actually millions of tons of pulverized city bricks, glass, steel, and human lives, sucked up into the atmosphere, coated in lethal radiation. This is called the witch's brew. Driven by the wind, the radioactive dust begins to rain back down on the towns and cities hundreds of miles away. Fallout is invisible. It doesn't smell. But if it gets on your skin or in your lungs, it systematically unravels your DNA. But if it gets on your skin or in your lungs, it systematically unravels your DNA. The immediate casualties of the blast are measured in the millions. The casualties of the fallout are measured in the billions. Minute 72, the total exchange. But remember, this isn't just about one city. Back in minute 15, the president authorized a retaliatory strike while the city is burning. Hundreds of counter-missiles are now crossing the sky above. This triggers the final, fatal domino effect, mutually assured destruction. Because the targeted nation fired back, the enemy's radar now sees hundreds of incoming warheads. They assume it is a total all-out assault, so they launch everything they have left in their arsenal. Treaties are triggered, allies are pulled in. Russia, China, NATO forces, every nuclear power in the world is now launching. By minute 72, the entire northern hemisphere has been blanketed in nuclear fire. Every major military base, every communication hub, and every significant city is now gone. The war is over, not because somebody won, but because there is nothing left to destroy. The weeks that follow bring the final, very depressing phase of the nuclear winter. The smoke from thousands of burning cities rises into the stratosphere, and because it is so high, rain cannot wash it away. It circles the globe, blocking out the sun. Global temperatures plummet by 20 to 30 degrees. Crops fail worldwide. The global food supply chain, already crippled, is in complete collapse. The grim irony of this 72-minute war is that the people who were vaporized in the first ones were the lucky ones, because the survivors inherit a world of ice, radiation, and silence. Now, we live in a world that has grown comfortable. We think that these weapons, also known as nuclear deterrents, exist solely so they can never be used. But a deterrent only works if the enemy believes you are actually willing to use and press the button. And as long as these weapons sit quiet in their silos, we are all living on a 72-minute timer that thankfully hasn't started yet. History teaches us that eventually every weapon, unfortunately, has been invented and been used. But the question isn't if a day like this it could happen. The question is whether we are enough to make sure it never does. Now, if you found this video interesting and you'd like to hear more, make sure you subscribe to the channel as we explore history's most interesting moments of the past, the present, and possibly the future. That is it for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.